For decades, the middle class was the promise. It was the quiet agreement between effort and outcome. If you worked hard, stayed out of trouble, and played by the rules, you would build a stable life. You would afford a home, raise a family, take a vacation, and slowly build security. That promise is no longer holding. Not because people stopped trying, but because the rules changed. Across the United States, Canada, and much of Europe, fewer people now fall into what counts as the middle class. Even those who do feel like they are standing on thin ice. Wages have grown slowly while the cost of living has surged. Housing, healthcare, education, childcare, and transportation have all risen faster than incomes. On paper, many people look successful. In daily life, they feel fragile. This is what the shrinking middle class looks like. A nurse earning $75,000 in Vancouver who cannot afford a one-bedroom apartment without roommates. A teacher in Toronto who delays having children because daycare costs more than her mortgage would. An engineer in San Jose who earns six figures and still worries about a single medical bill, wiping out years of savings. These are not edge cases. They are the new normal. Housing is the clearest signal of the shift. In the 1980s, the average home cost about 3 times the average household income. Today, in many cities, it is 7 to 10 times higher. In places like Vancouver, Toronto, New York, and London, families spend more than half their income just to stay housed. Rent is no longer a stepping stone. Home ownership, once the foundation of middle-class wealth, is becoming an asset reserved for investors and the wealthy. Healthcare tells the same story. In the United States, a hospital visit can erase years of savings overnight. In countries with public health care, people still face crushing costs through prescriptions, dental care, mental health services, and long wait times that push them toward private clinics. A middle-class family can do everything right and still be financially devastated by one diagnosis. Stability has become fragile. Education used to be the ladder into the middle class. Today, it is one of its biggest threats. University once paid for itself. Now graduates leave with tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, while entry-level salaries barely cover rent. Student loan payments delay home ownership, marriage, and having children. The very tool meant to lift people up now holds them down. This is not just a personal problem. It reshapes the entire economy. When the middle class shrinks, spending changes. People stop buying furniture. They stop eating out. They delay car purchases. They cut back on travel. Small businesses close. Local shops disappear. Mega chains survive because they can operate on thin margins and massive scale. The economy shifts from growth to survival. You can see it in everyday life. Families using credit cards for groceries. Parents working multiple jobs just to cover childcare. Young professionals living with roommates into their 30s and 40s. Seniors returning to work because retirement savings are not enough. These are not failures of discipline. They are symptoms of a system that no longer converts effort into stability. Inequality grows as the middle class shrinks. Wealth concentrates at the top. The wealthy invest in assets that grow even faster, like real estate and stocks. Everyone else rents, borrows, and falls behind. This creates a feedback loop where the rich pull further away and the middle class becomes increasingly fragile. This fragility weakens society. A strong middle class stabilizes democracy. It funds public services. It supports local businesses. It creates shared opportunity. When it disappears, people lose trust in institutions and in each other. Anger rises. Polarization grows. The future stops feeling fair. What makes this especially dangerous is how quiet the change has been. There was no single collapse. No moment where the middle class disappeared overnight. It happened slowly. Rent rose. Tuition increased. Healthcare premiums climbed. Wages lagged. Each step felt manageable on its own. Together, they reshaped a generation. Many people blame themselves. They think they failed. They think they made the wrong choices. But this is not a story about individual mistakes. It is a story about structural shifts. The middle class did not disappear because people stopped working hard. It disappeared because the economy stopped rewarding effort with stability. The shrinking middle class is why good jobs do not feel good anymore. It is why six-figure salaries still feel broke. It is why the idea of a normal, stable life now feels out of reach for millions of people who did everything they were told to do. Understanding this does not fix the problem, but it changes how we see it. It replaces shame with clarity. It replaces blame with awareness. And awareness is the first step toward rebuilding an economy that works for the people who hold it together.